I finished this trilogy by Mark Tufo, David Moody, Chris Philbrook. The Bleed. Did it finish well? Did it land the plane? Let's talk about that. Welcome to Fantasy for the Ages, the show where a father and son talk about fantasy, science fiction, other nerdy things that we enjoy. Today, just Jim here with a book blast, a spoiler-light review of the third book of the Bleed Trilogy. I already have reviews out here on the first two. Now I'm bringing it home. If you enjoy this today, be sure to hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. It helps us so much. Thank you. So, The Bleed. It was a fast-paced trilogy that moved right along, a blend of fantasy and science fiction with just a touch of horror, I'd say. I mean, The Bleed. And, the covers of these books. You got a little bit of horror element going on in there. This is definitely an apocalyptic series because the world is coming to an end. Multi-worlds, because this is a multiverse setting, not a single world or single even universe. That's something that Mark Tufo is well acquainted with in many of the stories that he writes. And as he partners up with David Moody and Chris Philbrook, that's still all in play here. There was a lot to finish, a lot to deliver on here as we get to this final book of the trilogy. I really enjoyed the first two books. I rated them 4 out of 5 stars, which is really the top score I would give a book like this. There's not a lot of depth to this trilogy. It's just action and excitement and danger and fun. I mean, if you love seeing destruction and death. Because the way these authors write this sort of thing, you've got really devastating, apocalyptic, tense situations that are just filtered throughout with humor. So the way characters react to things is with sarcasm and snark. And they're not like going out of their way to do that. That's just their personalities. That's how some people react to things. And it creates a lighter tone, and you can just enjoy the story. There was a commenter on one of my previous videos wondering, is this the Bleed thing kind of more like a YA trilogy? Because that's what he'd heard. And I didn't really get YA here. I could see why someone would say that. Many of the protagonists are teenagers, but not all. My favorite character is almost 40 and is a primary character. And the themes involved, they're not just YA themes, but if somebody wanted to arm wrestle me over it's YA or it's not YA, I wouldn't wrestle because I could see some people saying that. But who cares? YA is just a label. This was a good story, and I am not a young adult, but I enjoyed the story. But again, it's not super deep. There aren't massive, deeper themes to unpack, nor do I have any temptation to reread this trilogy because of all the secret nuances I'll find. It's not there. You're getting what you're getting here in this. At the same time, it's well written. There is foreshadowing throughout the trilogy. It does what it came to do. The story is complete. The tale is told. And it's relatively satisfying at the end. Yeah, you heard that. Relatively. I only gave the final book a 3 out of 5 star rating. It was okay. Most of the story was fine, but I'm kind of like, they got to the very end, and they weren't sure how to quite wrap it up. I want to assume they wrapped it up the way they intended to, but for me, that felt just a little flat. I'm like, okay, if that's what you wanted to do, that's fine. There was one really nice twist near the end that I enjoyed with one of the adult characters. Again, spoiler-lite, I don't want to tell you this, but someone you've known since book 1 that, ooh, surprise, there's something here that they hadn't revealed before that kind of makes sense when it's finally revealed. You're like, oh, that explains a lot. I actually enjoyed that. The other thing I really enjoyed, and this was presented in book 2, but really came home in book 3, and that was the introduction of Kaladin. The demon of all demons, the archdemon with a reputation that precedes himself, but shown in a very different way. Some of the same traits that we've enjoyed seeing that character in other works by Mark Tufo, seeing imported into this and knowing he isn't just created for this, it's the same Kaladin. In a way, I mean, some of his reputation has to do with things we know about him from other stories. So if you're a Tufo fan, you really enjoy Kaladin in this story. If you never read anything by Mark Tufo, he's just this big demon that you'll enjoy just for who he is. I know, enjoy a demon. Yeah, it's real. So if you're just looking for a distraction, something to read in between other things that will not take you very long, has a fast-paced, engaging story that has some mysteries to figure out that get revealed along the way, that is not going to challenge your understanding very hard, but will help you escape for a little while, the Bleed might be a good one to try. I enjoyed it. It's not the best of all time, but I don't regret the time it took, which again, really wasn't that long. They're not that big. All right, that's what I have. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time.